So today we are gonna learn about light. So let's begin with a primary question. What is light? Light is a form of an energy. Sir, how can light be a form of energy? Or why? Look, by definition, energy is the capacity or the capability of a body to do some work. So, sir, what kind of work the light does? Well, there are various work, but to name a few, let's say light causes photochemical effect, it even generates heat, and it even causes the plants to photosynthesize. And the most simple and underrated one is that it enables us to see the objects around us. Sir, how does light enables us to see the objects around us? Well, when light falls on an object, it bounces back from it to eyes. Sir, how does the light bounce back from an object? Let's understand this by an example. Suppose you walk into your living room, but then there is no light. So what you do is you take out the flashlight from your pocket and switch it on. And as you do so, the pitch dark room is filled with light and you're able to see the objects that are inside the room. So how does this happen? Let's analyze what happened. So when you flash on your torch, a beam of light comes out from it, and beam of light is basically a collection of multitude of rays. So there must be at least one ray from your torch that emerges out from it, hits the object and bounces back from it to your eyes, and thus you're able to see the object. So now bouncing back of light can be seen in two ways. One could be called as reflection and the other could be called as scattering. But before we get into the bouncing back of light, let us understand the sources of light. So we all know that light comes either naturally to us or artificially. So when you speak of natural, we have got sun, moon, lightning. But when you speak of artificials, there are lighthouses, lamp, candles, bulbs, etc. So from this, we can also classify the light as luminous lights or luminous objects that emit their own light, and non-luminous object that basically reflects the light that is coming from the luminous objects. Now coming back to our question, why does the light bounces back? So light exhibits dual property. So what is dual property of light? Well, light can be seen as a particle or as a wave. For simplicity purposes, let us consider light as a particle here. And light as a particle has a mass and, as we know, a very high velocity. It is because of this high velocity that light tends to travel in a straight line, hence the name rectilinear propagation of light. Now, light as a particle or anything that has mass and has velocity will have momentum, a sort of force. So let's imagine a table tennis ball of mass m moving towards the refrigerator with velocity v having a small force F. As it hits the refrigerator, by virtue of Newton's third law, the refrigerator will be providing a force opposite direction to the ball, and hence the ball bounces back off the refrigerator. So the bouncing back of the particle depends on the surface. So we have a regular and smooth surface that will cause reflection, and irregular and rough surfaces that will cause scattering. Now let us have a look at reflection. What is a reflection? Let's consider a smooth plane mirror. Let's name it M dash. Alright, let's put a incident ray on this mirror. As the incident ray touches the mirror, let us draw a normal, and from the normal you can see that a reflected ray moves out. Similar thing will happen when we put another incident light. As you can see here, the incident rays are being reflected back to the same plane. And as you can observe here, it's very clear that the reflected rays are parallel to each other. Now, let us isolate any one of the rays and see what exactly happened, why the rays were parallel to each other. So here's the mirror M dash. Here is the incident ray. Let's name it PQ, and at the Q we'll draw a normal, and here is the normal N dash. From the normal, a reflected ray emerges out, and what we observe is the angle between the normal and the incident ray is equal to the angle between the reflected ray and the normal. So here's the condition for your regular reflection, that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. That means angle PQN dash is equal to angle N dash QR. Suppose if your incident angle is 30 degrees, your reflected angle has to be 30 degrees as well. Now let us understand scattering. So what happens in scattering is, when we don't have a regular and smooth surface as a mirror, but instead we have something like this, when incident ray falls on it and we draw the normal at the point, we see that the reflected ray do not follow the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. The angle generally varies. The angle of reflection particularly generally varies. Hence, the light seems to displaced in various ways. So none of the rays are parallel to each other here. So now let's have a small question for you. Which property of light helps us to see most of the things around us? Is it reflection or scattering? But before you answer that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have a good day. But don't forget to mention your answers in the comment section down below. Thank you.